What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, the only Sacramento Kings fan I know, and a happy fan this year. What's good, Spread Astaire? How are you?
Man, I'm good. We're trying to survive this storm out here. It knocked out. At one point, we had 200,000 people without power in Sacramento. Got to give credit to the utilities. They got us back rocking and rolling. But it's been a wild week for us here. And then, of course, in the sporting world, still grinding. It's doing pretty good on the NBA. And I'm looking forward to talking some NFL playoffs with you, man. We got some big shoes to fill off what we did last year. So I can't wait to break this down.
Man, I've been praying for you guys. You know that stuff. Why I text you, and I was like, man, I see what's going on in Sac. Let me check on my guy. I'm glad that you and your family's okay. I know you told me about a friend of yours who was going through some things with her situation, unfortunately. But just like Houston, man, Sacramento, just the infrastructure wasn't cut out for all this rain. So hopefully everything gets better real soon and everything's back to normal real soon out there. Got a lot of good news this week. Besides that, you got DeMar Hamlin. He recovered. That's a great thing because what a lot of people don't understand is this football is a brotherhood, man. And a lot of us been playing since we were kids. And what was really sad about that situation with Hamlin was not only were we afraid for his health, but we were afraid of what was going to be the results if something, fatal would have occurred with him. We know how that would have forever affected football because we know how many people are trying to already, stop American football from, being successful and things. And us as guys who, not only enjoy the game and love the game, but also it's how we eat. It's one of our career things. It was really, really difficult watching that. And I'm really glad that kid's all the way back. And they're saying that he's actually out the hospital now.
Well, yeah, that's good to hear. I actually didn't know that, but I knew that he was doing better, and we're real excited about that. Like you said, I can't imagine the ramifications if everyone had sat down. Probably the biggest Monday Night Football game in 2 or 3 years, as far as ramifications, star power. Everyone was tuned into it, so that would have been. Glad we got some good news there.
Yeah, it ended up becoming something that's going to be really a good thing for the NFL. We never want to see anyone hurt, but his recovery is really giving a lot of people a lot of enthusiasm and made people feel good about football. What do you think about before we get off into the past, present, future, what do you think about the Texans' decision to go for 2 points well, at the end of the Colts game to
you know what they did,
secure
right?
the number 2 pick.
You know what they did, right? That's not a well-run organization. They told the coach before the game that he was getting fired.
And he threw one last middle finger before he got out of there.
He was going to do that. What does he need the number 1 pick for?
And he was the coach, for Chicago, too. Yeah. He has a long history with the Bears and worked for University of Illinois. So, and it's such a dirty thing, man. The Texans are always getting played because what they don't understand is that the coach GM has a great relationship with Chicago. So don't be surprised if the Colts, jump Houston and end up taking Bryce Young. And it's going to be hell on the Texans if Bryce Young is inside that dome. They got to face him the next 10 years. I could tell you that. Well, we're getting ready for the NFL playoffs. As you said, it's a lot of pressure. The first thing they were talking about this morning on ESPN 97.5 in Houston was you went 13-0 documented last year on the NFL playoffs. So got some big shoes to fill. We got to keep it up because you know how people are. It's what have you done for me lately? So let's get to the past real quick, Spread, and kick the show off.
UGA versus TCU. Hey, you got to thank Georgia for hitting that over because TCU didn't come to play.
They didn't do anything.
That was so disappointing as a fan. I mean, I know we want to give these smaller schools a chance, but it just feels like the SEC is just head and shoulders above everyone else. And the only way we could have probably got a good championship game is if they would have let Alabama in. And I know that people didn't want to let Alabama in, but this is the result. So it's kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I thought there was good arguments both ways.
Even really Tennessee over TCU. I like Tennessee even over them to get in. You got to go with the best team, Spread. You can't go by what's, trying to, the little guy. They lost to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. I don't think that they should have got in because of that. But they got in. They were able to upset Michigan, played the game of their lives because Jim Harbaugh was obviously thinking about the NFL because he didn't have his guys ready at all to play that game, or maybe it was a layoff, it was a long break in between. But I kind of saw this coming with this game, man. You got Georgia who were they were on their like proverbial ninth life against Ohio State. This kicker makes a less than 45-yard field goal. Ohio State's in the championship playing, and they do the same thing to TCU. Great job by C.J. Stroud that game, getting them in position to win. It's just the kicker, unfortunately, could not make the kick and couldn't come through, and Georgia gets another life. And when they got another life, I knew that this week Kirby Smart was not going to play any games. Did you hear his pregame speech?
No, I saw it making the rounds on Twitter, but was it pretty impressive?
Oh, it was just straight up. Let's go kick their effing A's. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to play with this team. Just go out there and kick their A's all over the. I say, wow, that's what you want to hear. It was just like no nonsense. We're better than them. Now let's go just smash these guys. And that's exactly what they did. After their performance against Ohio State, you saw it coming. And poor TCU, they got an angry Georgia team that was, not taking any chances after what happened against Ohio State. And it shows you how thin it is, the margin of winning and losing. Think about if Georgia gets 2 breaks over the last 2 seasons to go back to back. Jameson Williams gets hurt after dominating them. They couldn't hold him. They couldn't check him. They couldn't do anything with him. He was dominating the whole first quarter of the game last year. He gets hurt, comes out the game. Against Ohio State, they're down 17 points or so. They can't do anything with Marvin Harrison Jr. He gets knocked out the game on a concussion, and everything turns around. So,
Yeah.
2 key receivers going down. One by their doing, by them hitting Harrison with a kind of cheap shot in the end zone, and the second just a turf injury, man. That's why it's very dangerous playing on that artificial turf. He just got a bad turn and blew an ACL, and he's just not recovering. But as you can see from his debut with Detroit, that Jameson Williams is going to be a real factor in the NFL. He's special. Georgia, by the skin of their teeth, they are back-to-back champions, and all I can say is Kirby Smart is taking the blueprint from the master and did it as well as the master, and you rarely see that.
Yeah, so credit to them, and hey, they might be the favorite to win it again next year. We'll see.
Yeah, because that backup quarterback looked pretty good. He looked pretty legit. Man, they put up 254 yards rushing and 335 yards passing.
Yeah.
And contained TCU to only 36 yards rushing for the entire game, 152 yards passing. It was just complete dominance. We haven't seen that type of smackdown in a long time.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's talk NFL. Jags were -6 versus the Titans. They did not cover, but they got the win. They're going to be playing this weekend. What did you think of that game? I didn't think Trevor Lawrence played that well, but I also think the Tennessee, now that they were healthy, has a better defense than we give them credit for. So I don't want to make too much of it. What did you think when you watched the Jags play the Titans?
I think that what I already knew, that their coach is a hell of a coach. That Mike Vrabel knows what the hell he's doing. That's what I thought, because he took Josh Dobbs, and Josh Dobbs looked as like a really competent NFL quarterback. The first half of that game, they were able to get off to a quick start, smart offensive plays. They got their tight end involved. Both tight ends actually involved in the passing game. Played great defense, as you said. They had their entire defense back, so their defense looked a lot better. Just a overall great game, and if not for that fumble recovery for the touchdown by the Jags, the Titans would have won that game. They shut that offense down. So we'll see if Jacksonville is playoff ready, or if they're just a little bit above schedule, like I think they are. I think they're a little ahead of schedule, and I think it comes crashing down this weekend.
All right, yeah, and we'll be talking about that one when we get to the present. Let's talk about the Packers. They were -4 against the Lions. The Lions beat them, and hey, I mean, it was set up to play to the Packers' strength. When everyone was loving the Packers on this recent run, it was like, well, we got Aaron Rodgers. We can count on him in the clutch. Can't count on Jared Goff. But Aaron Rodgers is the one that throws the back-breaking interception. and then give the Lions credit because there were still 3 minutes left in the game at that point, and they beat them up front and they ran the ball. Now we knew that's one of the Packers' weaknesses was they were, and it's weird because going into the season it seemed like they had the personnel to stop the run, but as the season progressed, I mean their run defense was just really bad.
Yeah.
So the Lions, just run the ball out. They get the win. And that was huge for Dan Campbell, right? Because they finished with the winning season. He keeps his job, and everything that he's been preaching for 2 years, you can see it coming to fruition, right? So they go into the offseason, feel great. They're building some momentum, and they just know, hey, we got it. We got a hell of an offense. We got a hell of an offensive line. If we're the Lions, we just need to add some defensive talent because they're out there busting their asses. They're just not good enough. So I was impressed with the Lions, but you were not impressed with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Let them know the change that you think it's time to make.
The Packers have to go with Jordan Love next year. One, you're getting off for all of that money you're paying Aaron. At this point, Aaron is he's more hype than game right now. As we saw, that last possession was pathetic. That pass that he threw was just like hoping and wishing. And Detroit controlled them twice this season. It wasn't just one game. They didn't even get in the end zone against Detroit earlier in the season. Dan Campbell is a hell of a coach, man. It's time for us to give him some props for the type of coach that he is. Everything that he's been doing with the Lions has been amazing because he had to rebuild these guys' entire makeup and make them understand that they were winners, make them understand that they're professionals and that this isn't the Lions of old. And you heard a lot of that in Jamal Williams' epic speech after the game in the interview when he was talking about losing his grandfather. And then after that, we're the Detroit Lions. You heard how proudly he said that. And that's the difference what Dan Campbell's bringing to that team. He's put pride in that team. It's Lions Pride is their tag on Twitter. And now they're really living up to it. And I know that a lot of guys that I know up in that Detroit area are really excited and really happy about where Dan Campbell is going with their team and where that team is going overall. They have their franchise guy and a veteran that's right in his prime with Jared Goff. He's very comfortable with those receivers they got. And Jameson Williams is just now getting back. He's going to be a real problem next year. You got St. Brown is going to be 100 catch receiver every year. He works from the slot wonderfully. Reminds you a lot of Tyler Lockett, and they just have it going on in Detroit. Man, they got a really bright future, and the fact that they knew they were eliminated, and Dan Campbell told the team in the locker room in the speech, yeah, either we're going to the playoffs or nobody's going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing: if we're not going, Green Bay not going either. And those guys want to put it on the line, and they played that way. And what you're getting from Aaron Rodgers is not enough for this team to continue to pay such a hefty tag. As you see his players declining, right now you can still sell high. Now's the time. Get him to Tennessee. I'm sure Tennessee will do anything to grab him right now. They need a quarterback really bad. He has a house in Nashville he's building. Trade him to Tennessee, man. Get him over to the AFC. Out your hair, out your way. And it's time to rock with Jordan Love. I guarantee you that offense puts up a lot more points next season if Jordan Love's the quarterback. One, they have an outstanding run game. The RPO is going to open up completely when Jordan Love. There's a couple plays like the initial drive that the Packers had. The old Aaron Rodgers would have ran that into the end zone. He doesn't have the legs he used to have. So he didn't trust his athleticism and ended up taking 3. And that would have been a touchdown from Jordan Love because it's wide open after the dive to the running back. They've run that so well with Jones and with Dillon that the quarterback on the keep and on the bootleg is going to be wide open. And you need a guy like Jordan Love with some wheels and athleticism. And he isn't that much of a worse passer at this point than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers hasn't shown this year to be so elite at passing the ball. He has great weapons on the outside. The Packers are young, strong, and fast everywhere. On defense, special teams, offense, except for at the quarterback position. It's time to get young and athletic at the quarterback position as well. I really hope for the sake of cheeseheads and Packers fans worldwide that this was the final nail and that they move on from Aaron Rodgers because he's doing the same thing that the guy before him did to that franchise, Brett Favre, and he's keeping them, in purgatory where they can't move forward. So hopefully, I know they don't have ownership. That's another problem that you're dealing with Green Bay. hopefully the board or whoever makes decisions over there have enough heart to move off of Aaron Rodgers. Get his kid a chance. He's on a rookie contract. He's going to free up so much money to do other things. You guys got another good draft pick coming up. Grab another receiver for him. And you guys got everything set to rock and roll in Green Bay if you just turn the keys over to Jordan Love.
All right. So you're calling for Jordan Love, but like you said, we'll see what they do. All right. But this is what the people are waiting for, man. Pressure's on. And I can't wait to start talking through these games. Let's go through. It's the present. It's wild card weekend. We got a couple big spreads and a couple ones that are pretty close. We're starting out with a double-digit spread. It's the Seattle Seahawks against the San Francisco 49ers. 5-star, I've gone back and forth on this game. My original thought is that I want to fade both 7 seeds, right? And my idea is, this is me being an old man, these aren't playoff caliber teams. That there's there's always 6 teams in the playoffs. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have added this, because I think it made the regular season more fun. I think it makes the number 1 seed more important. So, right, that drama that we would have had on Monday night if we didn't have the medical emergency, right? It was created by the fact that there's not 2 buys. Because if there were 2 buys, I don't know if it would have felt as important. So I'm not against this, but I'm just saying these 7 seeds, maybe a TCU situation. Here's my argument on the other side. And also the 49ers over the past 5 games have been unreal. They're covering every single spread. They have the highest point differential in the NFL, and they didn't start good, right? So that's based on the strength of their ending play. But let me go to the other side. This is a division game. If this was an out-of-division game, I would have already laid it. But we know that Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan know each other well. Will that be a mitigating factor? Also, I talked about how the weather messed with my life this weekend. This storm isn't over. Now, maybe on Sunday it'll still be dry, but we've had wet conditions, and they might be playing in rain, looking like that game in Chicago, right, where the Niners didn't look too good, and they lost, in week 1. And we all said, well, it's a rainstorm, but we might be having that rainstorm again. I think there's great arguments on both sides here. Hey, push me towards the light here. I think you can make an argument for both teams.
I've been back and forth on this game. It seems like such a layup. Oh, take the 49ers. They smoked these guys twice. Then I start thinking about everything and looking at the rosters, looking at the coaches. And as you said, division teams. One of the hardest things in football, Spread, is to beat a team 3 times in one season. Division underdogs are 19-11 against the spread when meeting for the 3rd time in the playoffs since 2000. Another factor, you got a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks have not fared well in their first starts in the NFL playoffs. Everything gets tighter. You got the OG Pete Carroll. He's 8-4 since 2017 against Kyle Shanahan. This is the first time that he's lost to him twice in a season. He has had a lot of success against the 49ers. It's just too many points. It's going to be raining and wet. The Seahawks defense has been playing a lot better lately. They just held down Kansas City and the 49ers, probably 2 of the most impressive offenses in the league. Held them down to below their expected average per play. They went from being like 27 to the last couple of weeks to like 10th in the league in expected yards per play on defense. So I like the Seahawks actually, man. Plus 10, man. I know it sounds crazy, but it's something about veterans. Geno Smith isn't a world beater, but I don't think he'll be afraid. He knows about this team and what he's doing. You got to believe Brock Purdy's going to have a little jitters in his first playoff game. I'm not saying he doesn't settle down, but I think Pete Carroll's smart enough to throw some different looks at him than he's had before. And we know the Niners, they want to run the ball. If the Seahawks can hold up on the line, they can stay in this game, especially at double digits. It's too easy. So that's why we're going to go with the Seahawks plus 10. There's no way that the Niners blow them out for the 3rd time with a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. And I think that the books want the public to bite on this minus 10 because just how dominant the Niners have been. But I'm going to actually get this out in the ball and parlay, and I'll break it down a little bit more.
All right. Saturday night should be a lot of fun, man. Two up-and-coming quarterbacks. Justin Herbert leads the Los Angeles Chargers into Jacksonville to take on Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. I'll tell you what, I this was the one when I ran my numbers, I had the biggest edge. I thought the Jaguars should be favored at home. And they're catching 2.5. Let's look at some of the things that have me concerned about the Los Angeles Chargers, even though they have been playing better and they are getting somewhat healthy. Hey, you know, they lost Mike Williams last week. We'll see if he's out there. That could be a big loss. But my concern is, number one, they haven't been good against the run. You need to be able to stop the run in the playoffs, right? I mean, we saw that in the de facto playoff game that the Green Bay Packers played. You know, hey, you know, if you had a good run defense, you could have given Rodgers another chance, right? And in fact, the Jacksonville Jaguars did just that when they upset the Dallas Cowboys, right? Trevor Lawrence had that fumble, and we talked about it on this show. And I said, oh, man, I thought that he blew it. You know, he had a chance for the game-winning drive, and he fumbles. And the D said, hold on, Trevor. We got you. We'll stop the run, bottle these guys up, and give you one more shot. And he took advantage of it. So not being able to stop the run is huge. And it's just a coaching advantage. You're telling me Doug Peterson and these guys, you know, I was talking to a good buddy of mine who really knows football. He says every single day this edge for the Jaguars grows because I trust Doug Peterson to get his team prepared more than I trust Brandon Staley to get his team prepared. So I was looking to bet the Jaguars here, but I know you've done a lot of work on this game as well. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to cut it in half and give out on the Ball and Parlay a pick on this game for the half. My overall look on this game is this. Okay, the first time that they played each other, James Robinson was there for Jacksonville. He went crazy. He had 17 carries for over 100 yards. He's a downhill power runner. That's the type of running back that gives problems to the Chargers. Travis Etienne, not so much. More of a dancer, more of a scat back, not a downhill runner. Jacksonville also has not looked that good on offense lately. They've struggled a little bit on offense. I like big time players in these type of games. Now I know Brandon Staley is we've had him he's a Hall of Famer on kick the damn. He's been there more than probably any other coach in the NFL. So that's the problem why I'm cutting the game in half, because we know that you can't trust Brandon Staley late to make good decisions. But what I have saw also in this game is this. All of the star power, all of the players who I expect to step up the biggest are on the Chargers team. You got Joey Bosa on one side of the line. You got Khalil Mack on the other side of the line. You got Derwin James, all pro safety, lurking in the back, ready to pick out Trevor Lawrence and bait him. You got on the offensive side, Austin Eckler. You got Sunshine, Justin Herbert at quarterback. And then you have Keenan Allen. We know the type of player Keenan Allen is. This is a big-time game. This is a playoff performance. The Chargers haven't been in a lot of playoff games. We know how powerful their roster is. I think that these big-time guys are going to step up for the Chargers because they have clearly the best roster out these two teams. So now it boils down to, as you said, schematics. I know what type of coach Doug Peterson is, and as the game goes, as your boy said, the longer it goes, the more advantage to Jacksonville. Also, the longer the game goes, more advantage to Jacksonville. But I do like the Chargers early, so I'll talk to you about that in the Ball and Parlay. But I definitely on this game lean Chargers first half.
All right, we'll do that again in the Ball and Parlay. Let's get to Sunday. Dolphins at the Bills, same dilemma. Although I think it's more pronounced in the Niners-Seahawks game. But that's that, hey, I want to fade these 7 seeds, but once again, it's a division game. Now, let's be fair. Pete Carroll's been playing against Kyle Shanahan for 5 years, right? So the familiarity is there. McDaniel, he's the single.
Daniel, no S, yeah.
Yeah, our guys that got the S at the end. So McDaniel, he got 2 games against the Bills. One of them, let's completely throw out the window because even the guy on the Dolphins that grew up in Miami was like, I'm not even used to it being this hot, and I grew up here, right? I mean, it was just a crazy day. So I actually like, if I'm going to lay the points there, I actually, on these double digits, I actually like the Bills more than the Dolphins, but they've priced us out in my mind to really love this wager. But I don't really want to back the Dolphins and Skylar Thompson. What do you think about 13.5, this spread right here?
Mike McDaniels is too good of a coach to give him this many points in a game this important. I know Skylar Thompson sucks. Me and Lance Zerline briefly spoke about that this morning, about how we've seen over the years in the NFL that when it's an injury, the other players tend to step up. This is a big game for Miami. You got two receivers on the outside who are probably the best duo in the league. I think Mike McDaniel is smart enough to get them the ball and get Thompson some easy throws. The main thing that why I think that Miami has a chance to keep it within the number is his ability to draw up running plays. As you saw last game, last matchup between these two teams, Miami was able to be successful in the running game against Buffalo. I know that Buffalo's going to have all the hype. Everyone's thinking about the Damar Hamlin story, and it's going to be going crazy in that stadium. But I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I just trust Mike McDaniel to keep this game close. As crazy as it sounds, without a quarterback, I just still think that he can draw up enough offense in order to keep Miami in this game. And I think that Cheetah and Waddle can get loose enough where they can at least backdoor cover this game. He has all week to work with Skylar Thompson and get him on his reads. It's just another game that seems too candy. It's too easy. It's going to be Joe Public all over Buffalo. They're going to be laying the points left and right, saying Miami doesn't have a quarterback, and that's exactly what the books want. This line has just grown too big for two division teams, and with such a sharp coach.
Yeah, a big test for him, right? He's definitely got his hands full trying to get Skylar Thompson to compete with Josh Allen, but the line is adjusted accordingly. So not my favorite play here. I'm not really high on these 7 seeds, though. I wasn't really impressed with the Dolphins and the way they finished their season, but the line reflects that, right?
Yes.
If it was 14 any shorter, points right? If it was less than double digits, everyone would be on the same side. So they did
14 points. 14 points is just way too many in the division game. You got division rivalries, and this is finality. We always talk about how NFL players play. This is their last game of the season if they lose. I just see a better effort from Miami than people think.
All right, I can't wait to get your thoughts on this one. Hey, let's be honest, these lines are set pretty well. When I ran my projections, most of them came pretty close to the lines the books are setting. This one was no different. I think I had the Vikings by 3.5, so I have a slight edge to the Vikings. Don't necessarily know if I love it. The New York Giants will be in Minnesota. These two teams played what day? It was Christmas Eve. The final score was 27-24, but it took a 61-yard field goal. I think it was the guy's career high for them to get the win, and it was just another in a long list of the Vikings being able to pull out games late. When it comes down to it, though, my projections like the Vikings, and I also believe that they have more ways to win this game. They're able to get down early and still be a threat, where I feel like if the Giants get behind, that's going to screw everything up. For the Giants to win this game, I feel like they need to get ahead early to be able to keep using the running game. If they get down like 2 scores, I don't know if I trust. I mean, Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, but I don't trust the weapons that he has. It's Saquon or bust, it feels like. So lean the Vikings here. Haven't made a play on it. What are your thoughts?
I lean the Vikings as well. I'm not going to play this game except live. The reason why is way too many people, talking heads and things like that, taking the Giants. Everyone's on the Giants plus the 3, and the line reflects that they think it's going to be a close game with that 3. Daboll is a coach of the year, class coach, sharp coach. So he will have the advantage. But Minnesota has the advantage with the playmakers that they have. Now, which Kirk Cousins do we see? Are they able to pressure him and get him off his spot and make him make mistakes? Dalvin Cook, what's his status? Is he playing?
I was assuming he's in, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in. I think he just got nicked up last week. We got Dalvin Cook, and then, of course, the unbelievable Justin Jefferson. What do the Giants do to try to take away Justin Jefferson? Because we know he's going to try to have a Hall of Fame type performance because he's that type of kid that wants to play his best at the biggest stages. The defense for the Giants is 25th in total yards. So I wonder if they're going to have problems stopping that O'Connell offense. Uh, it's going to be rocking inside Minnesota, inside their stadium. We know they have one of the better home field advantages in the country. But we also know the Giants just went there recently. Daniel Jones is, I've always known he was tough. He just needed coaching. And he's a poor man's Josh Allen. You know, he can make the completions. He's fast. He's strong. He has heart. The difference is that Josh Allen has a wide receiver one over there
Mm-hmm.
in Diggs. The Giants struggle passing because they don't have a receiver they could trust. The kid from Virginia Tech has been playing a lot better at wideout for them lately. He's been stepping up and trying to be a one, but they can never trust Darius Slayton. He's always um, doing something to get under Dayball's skin. This game is going to be tough. It very well could be where Saquon Barkley takes this game over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Minnesota struggles to stop the run and struggles to stop the pass. So Saquon Barkley could completely go off and have an all-time game. And if that happens, I could see them winning money line. But I think this game goes two ways. Either the Giants win straight up or the Vikings cover. I don't think it falls in between, like within the three, like people are thinking. So just watch for my tweets as I get more information coming into it. But I lean with you towards the Vikings, but it's not a play for me yet.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm fine staying away with this, staying away from this game for now. And hey, you might be onto something. Just take the opposite of the team that scores first. Just get that good live number.
Exactly. Get a good live number.
Another game marred by injuries. The Ravens at the Bengals. Man, this could have been just a showdown. But now we hear Lamar Jackson's not going to play. And I'll tell you what, I might have to, take an L. I said the Ravens were going to franchise him. Sounds like, from what I'm hearing, there's some turmoil, and they're going to be fine letting him walk. And hey, we've seen with some other situations, namely the situation in Denver and the situation with Arizona, that you give money to a guy, and I'm not a big Kyler guy, right? But it's not his fault he got hurt. But that's definitely going to hamper the team next year having that huge salary. Baltimore, I don't think is going to do that. I think they gave him a fairly good offer, and they're just like, okay, you don't want it. Move on. So could be some big changes there in Baltimore. But now, so who's going to start? Because I did the pick and winner show on Run Pure yesterday, and we still weren't sure because Tyler Huntley is listed as questionable with some shoulder soreness. Could be the third stringer. Do you have news on the quarterback, and how are you approaching this one?
It doesn't matter whichever starts. Huntley's is slightly better than Anthony Brown. Just isn't ready. He doesn't know enough yet. He could be a good quarterback, after getting some reps, but right now he just isn't ready. He actually would be a better passer than Huntley if after he gets some more repetitions. Because I saw him in college at Oregon and Boston College, and he could throw the ball pretty good. Tyler Huntley is just too worried about making mistakes when he goes out there. He doesn't, risk the ball enough and make enough passes, but he also doesn't have a lot of weapons. I mean, who's this top receiver about with Deshaun Jackson, like 50 years old, so they're reliant on Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely and trying to get the ball to the tight end and running the ball. Um, this is one that I think has a chance of getting ugly because I just think that the Bengals are on a mission. I think Joe Burrow is on the same type of uh, line that he was on when he was with LSU. We're going to blow you out, and we're going to score every time we get the ball. That's how he approaches it. And I, it's just too many injuries for the Ravens, and most of all, it's a cloud over their head with everything that's going on, like you said, with the Lamar. I saw when it turned. When he got hurt, Lamar already was ticked off with them for not giving him the deal that he felt like he earned,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like he earned it too. The Ravens were off the map on their way to being in a rebuild, and they draft Lamar Jackson. He instantly makes them a winner. They've won 75% of their games. He's been under the center. He's a dynamic, unique talent, and they have not helped him at all. They have not gotten him a wide receiver one, even though they've had a million chances to trade for receivers or pick up free agent receivers. And I think he's frustrated with that. And I don't know if you ever been in the Baltimore area, but I have. It's not a place you
Mm,
really want to live at either. You know, like you don't want to live in Baltimore unless you're just rich and have, your job has you there. If you have an option to go somewhere else and make the same money or more, you're gonna leave. And that's why I was telling Coach last week, and he pushed back that I don't think Baltimore pays Lamar, and I don't think Lamar wants them to pay him. I think this is his last season there. I think that's why he's not gonna play. He's trying to make it a standoff where they have to make a decision like, dude, I could play if I wanted to, but I'm not going to risk myself getting hurt for a franchise who doesn't believe in me after all the work I put in. I've been one of the youngest MVPs in league history, so I just don't think that that relationship is going well. I think it's some silent beef between him and Harbaugh. And I think that the Ravens are a type of organization, as you said, that they will move on from you. And so I look forward to Lamar hitting the market. I really hope that he can go home and play for the Dolphins. I would love to see him in Miami with Mike McDaniels calling those plays and with the weapons that he finally have on the outside because Lamar is one of the best deep ball throwers all through his career, even in college. He throws a beautiful deep touch pass. He doesn't have the receivers to throw it to, but with the Dolphins, he will because if he's in that RPO, you got to bring your safeties up to stop because if not, they're going to be churning out yards. And when you bring up those safeties, he's going to be able to hit you over the top with Cheetah or Waddle, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. So I'm really hoping that Lamar gets out there. But as far as in this game, too much Joey B, man. Joey B is one of the most talented players in the league. The only player I might put ahead of him in talent is Patrick Mahomes because I think he's
yeah.
more talented than even Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen doesn't have the slippery ability that Burrow has. He's a former point guard, former basketball player. I call him white chocolate. He's a he's a smooth guy, man. And I think that Joey B puts a hurting on the Ravens this week, and they go show the NFL this week that it's all seriousness with them, and that they're on a mission to get back to the Super Bowl. So on this one, I'm taking the Bengals, and I'll give you the play that I'm gonna make on them in the ball and parlay.
Sounds good. Monday Night Football. The league is loving this, right? The Dallas Cowboys versus Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I have a play on this game. It's not on the side. I like the under.
Total.
I like the under.
Yeah.
Here's my reason I like the under. I think both teams are going to be conservative. Right? They both have older coaches. They're both going to try and establish the run. Don't know who'll be ahead, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a 3-0 at the end of the first quarter, right? Which means I got about 42 points in the next three. I think, and both defenses are pretty good. Both teams are going to be stubborn about running the ball, and both teams have fairly good run defenses. It seems to me a lot of punts. And if I'm Tampa Bay, I just need to keep this game close, man, because Brady just – if it comes down to it, and I'm in a one-score game with 6 to 8 minutes to go, I feel like I have the huge edge with Tom Brady in there over Dak Prescott. So if you force me to choose a side, I'll take the points with the Buccaneers, but I feel like the under is one of the best plays of the whole weekend.
This is another one I'm gonna cut in half. You know how I like to do these games. I like to split them in half, man. I think the Cowboys win the first half at -120 money line. If you're going to bet against Brady, you bet against him early and not late. The Bucs, they backed into the playoffs behind several improbable Brady comebacks this season. Tampa has struggled though in the first half. Most of the season, they're ranking at the bottom 4 in scoring in the first half. They only average 8 points a game. The first half, only the Jets, the Colts, and the Houston Texans average less than the Bucs in the first 30 minutes of the game. And Dak Prescott has struggled mightily, man. He struggled hard a lot against Tampa in that first week, and he looked really bad last week at Washington. I know he has to hear the noise. He has to hear the media uh, calling for his head in Dallas, man. It's a lot of pressure wearing that straw on your helmet and being the quarterback. But I expect him to play better because he's a character type of guy, and I think he plays better in the first half at least. Dallas should be really wired up when this game starts, especially defensively after the performance last week. We know that Brady has problems with defenses that can get pressure on them with 4. And we know that Dan Quinn can do that. He's excellent at pressuring the quarterback. And I just think that they're going to be able to get Brady off his spot. OC Kellen Moore for the Cowboys, uh, he's usually draws up some effective plays. I think that he takes advantage of Tony Pollard and Dalton Schultz early in this matchup and get some mismatches on their linebackers for Tampa Bay because their linebackers aren't good in coverage with Tampa Bay. I'm one of the biggest Cowboy detractors in the world, but I just feel like the formula, the time, and everything set up perfect with them with that terrible performance on national TV last week for them to walk into Tampa Bay and play one of the better games of the season. But the problem is you cannot trust Mike McCarthy at the end of these games, and you cannot bet against Brady at the end of these games. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys first half money line minus 120.
All right. Hey, and I can't argue with that one. So there you have it. That's the present. Should be a fun weekend of football. But
Yes.
you have a future for us. And hey,
Yeah.
I'm loving to talk to you about this. I don't know if this is my favorite one, so I can't wait to hear why you're coming in on this.
Man, you know I love Sabs. Arena Sabalenka is plus 750. The only person ahead of us, your girl Swiatek, to win the Australian. I haven't liked anything I've seen out of Swiatek early this season. I'm not saying she might not catch her groove back, but she's had a lot of problems protecting her serve. Sabs just won Adelaide tournament last week. She was pretty dominant and winning that finals. And what I like most is she took this week off. She didn't play in two or any other tournament, so she's preparing strictly for the Australian Open. She's long overdue to win a major. We could both get agree that Sabalenka over the last years has been a top 5 player. You know, she's one of the better players. The only time she struggles is when she's having problems with her serve, and her serve has not been a problem as attested by her winning the tournament last week to kick off the season. And she faced some really good competition and was able to dominate everyone that she played. I just think that she's one of the better hardcore players we've seen, and I think that this is her year, and I think that she gets it done in Australia, and I can start hedging her pretty quick if she gets to the quarterfinal. So I like Sabalenka to win the Australian Open on the ladies' side at plus 750.
Yeah, Sabalenka does. I put 700 at the bottom of the screen, but hey, that's a great price regardless. I'm going to offer up one for the people. Hey, because with these futures, right, 7-1, and the one I'm going to give you is 12-1. You can afford to put more than one. So you're going to take the winner of Adelaide, and she looked great. She won in straight sets. Do you know who won in Auckland without losing a set?
Who?
Coco Gauff. I'm going to take Coco Gauff
right.
at 12-1. Same idea. She's coming in with great form. A little different issues, right? Gauff does have some serving issues like Sabalenka, but really I'm more worried about her forehand. But what I love about her is she's 100% focused on tennis, man. You don't see no party photos, no beach photos,
bikini photos.
Nope. It's all if she's on social media, it's because a sponsor said, "Hey, put up this, New Balance, or this." I mean, her dad, give her credit, strong family, and he's got her focus. And I think that when we have these times off, she takes, and also she's young, right? When you're 18, you can learn more than when you're 25. She takes advantage of these. So at 12-1, I couldn't pass up. I agree with you. Swiatek is the rightful favorite, but she doesn't do as well on the quicker surfaces, and we're only getting 2-1. 2-1 to win 7 matches.
Yeah.
Hey,
come on. She's not that dominant. Yeah.
Hey, if it's Novak, I'll go ahead and lay it, right?
Yeah.
And if we talk about the men's side, I laid it with Novak at minus 130. I don't care. He's that much better than the field. There's no.
And he's upset. And he's upset because last year he didn't get a chance to play.
Yeah. The only time I'll do that with Iga is when we go to Clay. Right.
Clay. She's gonna lay.
Yeah. I'll lay minus 150. But not on these quicker surfaces. Also, she's Polish. It's hot there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Coco grew up in Florida. She's right at home.
She's gonna be right at home. Yeah.
So
I like that Coco pick. I like that Coco pick a lot. Spread at 12-1. I'll put that one in too.
Yeah, we'll split that one. We'll do one with Sabs and one with Coco, and I think one of us is gonna have the winner there.
Yeah, maybe we'll get them in the finals and win both ways.
I haven't gone over the draw yet. I saw that it came out last night, and I saw there were some good round 1 matchups. Actually, and Coco might have more. Her draw is tough.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why, that's why that Sabalenka one, you have to put that one in too. She definitely has a better draw. I just trust her right now. I just think she is ready. She's finally, the athletic. She's already been a complete athlete, but she's grown up. full woman's bodies, not 16-year-old out there playing against grown women. Yeah, I think it's
very
gonna be a great
driven,
tournament.
very driven to win a championship too. She's very driven to win a championship. Whereas, as you said, Sab, if she loses, she's off to the beach, drink a couple brews with her boyfriend, and enjoy the life on the yacht. Coco's gonna cry for a week if she loses. So I can see your angle on that one.
So yeah, we got a couple good angles there. I'll bet you one of us ends up with the winning ticket there. Ball and parlay time though. Why don't you go and pick one more time?
All right, man. We're gonna go with Seattle plus 10 because, as we said, one of the hardest things in the world to do is to beat a team 3 times. We got 2 quarterbacks making their first playoff starts. The difference is Brock Purdy is a rookie. Geno Smith is a 10-year veteran. They both surprised the football world this year, and Purdy has been extremely solid, guys. Not surprised to me. As you know, I've always said that I liked him at Iowa State. He's the best quarterback to ever play for the Cyclones. But everything just gets tighter in the playoffs, man, and I just got to believe that the OG Pete Carroll, with his young, growing defense, has those guys energized to play ball, man. And I think that they can keep this game close going into the 4th quarter. I would not be surprised if we see a big game from Tyler Lockett. He's been a 49ers killer over the years. And as we said, the weather could be suspect. And who plays in rain more, San Francisco or Seattle?
That's right. The Seahawks going to be ready.
The Seahawks are going to be ready. So we're going to go with the Hawks plus 10. We're also going to go with the Chargers first half money line. I worry about Brandon Staley for the full game, but I know that he has the talent advantage coming out early, and I think that offense will be humming early, and they'll be able to put up a couple touchdowns on the Jags. But I feel like after Doug Peterson makes his adjustments at halftime, then the Chargers will be in trouble because they are really known for blowing these games and these leads late. So we're going to go with the Chargers first half money line and expect Justin Herbert, expect Austin Eckler to do their thing early, expect their receiving core to do their thing early. I really like their receivers. They're big, strong, and fast. Even if Mike Williams doesn't play, it isn't a large drop-off to Josh Palmer. A lot of people don't realize that. The Chargers are 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 in Jacksonville, and they're also 9-1 against the spread in the last 10 meetings. Jacksonville does not have an intimidating home field advantage, so I think the Chargers get up early. And then our final play is going to be the Bengals first half minus 4.5. I don't know if they're going to let off the gas a little bit later like they did last week where Baltimore was able to come in and make it a little bit closer than what it seemed. But I think that this offensive juggernaut that is the Bengals is going to be very difficult for the Ravens to hold. I know the Ravens have an excellent defense. They get a lot of pressure, but I think that Zach Taylor is sharp enough to know that the Bengals need to start early, fast, and strong. We know that Joe Burrow likes to knock you out early ever since college, which is a smart thing because this Ravens team needs to keep the game close in order to stay engaged. So that's why I think the Bengals start out early and try to slap them hard at the beginning of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they march up and down the field early. You got the probably the second best receiving core in the league right behind the Dolphins with T. Higgins and Chase, and some people probably put them 1A, 1B, or maybe even put Chase and T over them because they went to a Super Bowl together at a very young age. It's a black cloud right now over the Ravens in their locker room. Lamar Jackson was the heart of the team. He's a really well-liked player, and the players they have to feel like what's going on and be thinking about like what's going on with him and Harbaugh right now. The Bengals were 4th ranked in first half points, right ahead of the Chargers and right below the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Bills for most points in the first half. So I expect the Bengals to continue that. So we're going to go with Bengals first half minus 4.5 against a Ravens team that really is going to struggle moving the ball. Get on that early now because I really feel like Anthony Brown might end up having to be the quarterback. I don't know how effective Tyler Huntley will be with a sore shoulder, and if he does play, he hasn't put up much offense. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns in the 7 games, starting and 3 interceptions. So we're going to be on those 3. I gave them out on 97.5, and I'm also going to give it out to you guys. So there you go, and there you have it. Seahawks plus 10, Chargers money line first half minus 120, and the Bengals first half minus 4.5. What you got, Spread?
I'll give out a bonus. I didn't throw it on the bottom. I think people are here for the NFL picks, but I'm on the Bucks plus 4 tonight. I got them winning straight up in Miami. I think it's a great opportunity to take a great Milwaukee team. So I take the Bucks plus 4.
All right, thank you for that bonus. It's our time spread. We got to get
Let's do it.
a lot. Yeah, we got a lot to live up to. But hey, pressure bust pipes so it makes diamonds, and I think we're both diamonds, man. Anything for the
Yep.
people before we get out of here?
No, I can't wait till next week when we're counting this money.
Hey, man, it's time to count the money. It's the best time of the season. You guys tune in. Please like the show, guys. When you tune in, I see a lot of views, but I'm not seeing a lot of likes. You guys, we do this at our own time. We don't make any money for this. We take time out our schedule, out our day, out our busy lives because we enjoy talking sports with you. Please help us get these likes up. The more likes we get, the better the algorithms get. The more people see this show, and that's better for us. So that maybe one day down the line we can make some money from this show.
Yeah.
Guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. NFL playoffs are here. Let's enjoy. Follow my guy Spread at Spread Astaire. Follow me at 5 Star in Vegas. Spell out the 5. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys next Thursday.